1848, the first Women's Rights Convention is held in Seneca Falls, New York. After 2 days of discussion and debate, 68 men and 32 women signed a Declaration of Sentiment, which outlines grievances and sets the agenda for the women's rights movement. This set of 12 resolutions is adopted calling for equal treatment of men and women under the law and voting rights for women. During the Civil War, efforts for the suffrage movement came to a halt when women put their energies towards the war effort. 1850, Worcester, Massachusetts is the site of the first National Women's Rights Convention. A strong alliance is formed with the abolitionist movement, with Frederick Douglass in attendance. At a women's rights convention in Akron, Ohio, Sojourner Truth, a former slave, delivers her now memorable speech, Ain't I a Woman? 1868, Caroline Seymour Severance establishes the New England Women's Club. Called the mother of all clubs, it sparked the club movement, which became popular by the late 19th century. In Vinewood, New Jersey, 172 women cast ballots in a separate box during presidential election. 1870, the 15th Amendment gave black men the right to vote. The NWSA refused to work for its ratification, and instead the members advocated for a 16th Amendment, which would dictate universal suffrage. Frederick Douglass broke with Stanton and Anthony over the position of the NWSA. 1874, the National Women's Christian Temperance Movement is founded by Annie Wittenmeyer. Frances Ward becomes its head in 1876. The Temperance Union becomes an important proponent in the fight for women's suffrage. As a result, one of the strongest opponents for women's enfranchisement was the liquor lobby, which feared women might use their vote to prohibit the sale of liquor. 1887, the first vote on women's suffrage is taken in the Senate and is defeated. 600,000 signatures are presented to the New York State Constitutional Convention in a failed effort to bring a women's suffrage amendment to the voters. 1911, the National Women's Association opposed. Its members include wealthy, influential clergymen, distillers and brewers, urban political machines, some Southern congressmen, and corporate capital. 1910, the Women's Political Union organizes the first suffrage parade in New York City, 40,000 march. Many women are dressed in white and carry placards with the names of the states they represent. Maribel Vernon and Sarah Barb Field are involved in a transcontinental tour which gathers 500,000 signatures. 1916, Janet Rankins of Montana is the first woman elected to the House of Representatives. The arrest of the National Women's Party picketers began on charges of obstructing sidewalk traffic. In 1917, Alice Paul, leader of the National Women's Party, was put in solitary confinement in a mental ward of the prison as a way to break her will and to undermine her credibility with the public. Subsequent picketers were also sentenced to 6 months in jail. In November of that year, the government unconditionally released the picketers in response to public outcry and inability to stop National Women's Party picketers' hunger strikes. President Wilson announced that women's suffrage was urgently needed as a war measure. 1919, the Federal Women's Suffrage Amendment, originally written by Susan B. Anthony and introduced to Congress in 1878, is passed by the House of Representatives and the Senate. It is sent to the states for ratification. August 26, 1920, the 19th Amendment to the Constitution granting women the right to vote is signed into law.
You have heard of women's rights and how we've tried to reach new heights. If we're all created equal, that's us too. But you will probably not recall that it's not been too long at all since we even had the right to cast a vote.